Hello, and welcome to the Minor Elements Music Podcast, where we take a major look at the minor elements of music. My name is William, and I am joined by...
Daniel.
And Jodie.
Hi, and welcome. I've already said that. Oh, God. I'm
That,
repeating myself.
that was beautiful.
Today, we're going to talk about music and how it affects us physically, how it affects us emotionally. Real interesting conversation.
Yeah, I've seen music in general and the effects it has on everybody. You know, I don't believe anyone that says they don't listen to music, because as someone that doesn't listen to music, I just don't trust them.
I know what you mean, but there are people out there. I knew someone who didn't like music, or the music made them. They just didn't have the time for it. So I mean, it's very rare though. I think all the years I've known, and most people, yeah, they like music, or at least one type of music. You know, they might have their own wee genre that they stick to, and that's it. You know, it's like their tribe. That's their identity. But musicians, you know, they like a lot of musicians I've met. They like is a lot of different types of music. You know, they're more open to listen to different types, which I think helps when it comes to music making.
Definitely, I think the time we're in as well. You know, you're completely right. A lot of people, you have to be open-minded nowadays. But this sort of the time we're in, I think a lot of people are a lot more open-minded, and we're becoming more and more experimental with music. Well, it started years ago, but it's like it's still continuing to just people experiment with everything. I don't know if I was on this app recently, right? And what you can do now with just looping stuff and having like a drum machine and recording and multi-tracking on a live set is unreal. You know, all this in a live setting is just unbelievable. And you get people on YouTube and stuff like that they'll do like a set list, and I think there was one guy, I can't remember his name, but I'm sure if you just type up busking improvisation guy, you'll find him. What he does is he gets the audience to just tell him what to play, and he'll have like an idea of what it is, or he'll play it on his phone, and then he'll just like make it up, like multi-track it, like loop it, and then get his bass, get his little drum pad, and then like, oh, this is fantastic. You know, it's just yeah, being able to improvise and the experimental nature of the world we live in now musically is amazing. But the effects of music, sorry, I'm always one for going off of topic. uh,
What I was going to say was, I feel like music's been with us as long as we've been able to talk, because as human beings, our ability to speak our language is probably what separates us from the rest of the animals on our planet. You know, we can communicate, we can ideas. But what I think music came before we developed language. This is just my thoughts. This is not like proven by anything. I feel like it was easier to sing just a sound kind of harmony, like birdsong. You know, like we probably mimicked that from other animals, hearing like melodies from other animals, and I think that's how we first developed communication. You know, then obviously language came after that. But I realised that one of the earliest musical instruments was a bone flute. It was 43,000 years ago. So that shows you how long music's been with us. You know how we listened to music for so long and played music. You know.
well, if you
So,
look at if you look at travelers, right, they'll travel to, like, you know, you get backpackers, or like, you did get backpackers. You know, COVID stopped a lot of that, but you would get backpackers, and they would go to these, you know, tribal areas or villages or whatnot, just to for the culture, or to maybe volunteer, and they might not speak the language, but they understand the music. So it's like they all have sort of these tribal traditions, of where they'll do dances where they'll hit drums and they'll make these noises like you're talking about, like bird. It's almost
Yeah.
like bird noises, and they may not understand the language, but they'll understand the music. They can connect with music.
Everybody can, like, one of the oldest forms is like the call and response. Like everybody, if I'll do this, you probably know what's going to come after it. And you know what's going to come after that, isn't it? That's call and response, and everybody, can relate to that. You don't have to understand someone's language to have a conversation musically. And the thing is, when you play music with other people, you develop oxytocin. Your body produces oxytocin, which helps you bond with people. So you can meet people like other parts of the world. You don't know how to speak to them, but you can play a song with them, and you feel like there's a bond with them without words. It's just an amazing feeling.
One of the best feelings on the planet, oxytocin, and the love hormone, as it's widely known as. It's like, I know it. Everybody knows it if you've ever been in love. It's like that overwhelming, just feeling you get. It's fantastic. I'm sure you get it from meditation as well, because continuous meditation, it produces oxytocin. But it's amazing what you can do to produce oxytocin, and music being one of the, as well, bonding and playing with other musicians, which is unheard of at this point. Actually, I think certain rehearsal rooms are open around my area, but a lot of people are quite apprehensive to go for obvious reasons. But yeah, see that bonding experience that you get with playing with other musicians, it's I don't know. I think you might need to be. I don't think you need to be a musician to really feel it, because the audience can feel it as well, because they can kind of be connected. But I think to feel it on that level, being a musician definitely helps, because it's so intense, and it's very euphoric as well. It's just such an intense feeling, and yeah, absolutely love it.
Exactly. Sounds can actually, elicit a physical response. Like everybody gets like goosebumps, or the spine tingling feeling. You get the chills, going from your head down your back. I still there's still albums I listen to, maybe like I first listened to years ago, and I'll go back to them, and I'll get the same feelings. I'll get the goosebumps. I'll get like the chills all in my body just listening to this song. It's like, and that's like after years of you first listening to it. You'd think if you listened to it over and over again, you'd get sick of it, but. Well, maybe that's true if you do listen to it maybe 10 times every day for every single. But if you did listen to it for maybe a few months and go back to it kind of like you get the same feelings again, and you remember the last time you listened to it, and it evokes all the memories you've had when you listened to the song, and that's just and there is like science towards that, because the music does affect your limbic system. This is I watched a TED talk with this guy Alan Harvey. He's a neuroscientist, a musician, and he was explaining how the limbic system is part of the brain that deals with learning and forming memories and creating emotional responses. And music stimulates that part of the brain. So what happens is, like, whenever your brain remembers something, it puts like wee tags, like I mean, no, literally a tag, but you know what I mean, like a chemical tag. And a lot of that, and like music is one of those tags that they would get into a memory. If you think of something, like a song will do it. Another one is smell. You could smell something, like maybe somebody's cooking something, and you'll go right back to like the first time you smelt that. Maybe like your mum made like a meal, your favourite meal as a child, and you go somewhere and you smell that food. It takes you right back to the point. Music's the same. If you like something, maybe like you're, like you said, falling in love with somebody, and like you went to a concert, and you both loved this song, and like years later you'll listen to the same song and you'll just remember that night, and it'll be so real. Not just like you'll smell the smells, and you'll feel the feelings. And music does that. It's amazing.
I like to think of it as auto saves. It like auto saves like a certain moment without you even realizing it. And that's, see what you're talking about. That's one of the best feelings. Like, see when you go away from like, or maybe you haven't listened to an album or a song in so long, and you just like, or you stumble across it again, or you just go back to it. See that feeling you get. It's like you're listening to it all over again, and it's so overwhelming. You're like, oh, this is fantastic. Or you might pick up things. Have you ever done that with an album and go, I never picked that up before? You know, it's like because maybe your ears have like developed over like a certain period of time, so you might see or understand things differently, and it's just that's such an amazing feeling. Do you have an album that, or any songs recently that you've went back to? Like you were saying, like what ones recently have you went back to and you went, oh, this is amazing?
Well, thinking about like my favourite albums, maybe it's like another topic to talk about. Yeah, I was thinking like, do you know the Mars Volta? Their first album was called "Lives in the Comatorium," and it's just I was listening to it just like yesterday, and it just remember back when I first listened to it. It's just yeah, it was just amazing. I was remember what happened in my life and that kind of thing. It just brought back all these memories that
Yeah.
things I hadn't thought about in years. It just came back to me just listening to the music.
It's like a key to all this like emotion as well, because emotion comes with memories, doesn't it? Well, it can come with memories, so it's like unlocking this like key, like locked area of emotion, and it's amazing how it affects us
Yeah.
neurologically in that sense. Funny, I've actually been reading up on something similar, and uh, uh, it's just it's absolutely crazy because the more you dive into this stuff, the more it kind of just opens your eyes to certain things. But there was a clinical research study. It was entitled "The Rhyme and Rhythm of Music in Epilepsy." So this was about epileptic seizures being reduced by listening to Mozart, in particular music, but Mozart in particular. So they say a study has proven that listening to Mozart daily could reduce the number of seizures a person with epilepsy experiences. And it then goes on to say 50 million people worldwide are currently living with epilepsy, which is, if you've ever seen on a program or whatnot, everybody knows how horrible epilepsy could be. So something as simple as listening to music, like you can do it passively, and you can have it in the background. It can help change your life. You know,
Actually, I've got personal experience of people. My friend at high school had epilepsy. I didn't know at the time, but my other friend knew. But I didn't. I kind of basically just met them, and we were in my bedroom because we stayed over at my house, and we were just going a heated discussion. It wasn't even a proper argument. We just got, and then he just collapsed. I mean, like just out of the blue, and started like kind of taking a seizure. And I was panicked, but luckily my other friend he knew what was happening, and so he said, "No, just leave him. Just let him. He just make sure he's no choking on his tongue or anything like that. Just leave him."
Yeah, I had the same because I had somebody in my primary school class. He worst because they were like we couldn't even like go in the classroom or nothing when he had like a seizure. It was just awful, especially to see. It was just
Yeah. So yeah, it's not fun. So if music can help with that kind of thing, then
yeah.
that's great.
It kind of goes the same with Alzheimer's and dementia because they said that people with Alzheimer's and dementia improved when they listened to classical music as well.
you know what? That's amazing because think about especially things like epilepsy, Alzheimer's. Like horrible disease. Like see that glimmer of hope a family member might get seeing, someone that suffers from Alzheimer's, have an emotional response to music. It must be so overwhelming. Help them bring back a sense of normality, even for a split second. It would just that there is just so overwhelming, isn't it? It's absolutely phenomenal. See these researches, the more you dive into it, it's just absolutely phenomenal. Like music has like collectively all these effects, and there's tons more as well. Obviously, Alzheimer's been one of them, memory, as we were talking about, and even stress relief. Like if you think about
yeah,
it, think about the amount of people that, like corporate guys, like people that have high end jobs, even people that that work their absolute tail off. We all experience stress in many different forms, and music in forms of meditation. Like I can speak from personal experience with meditation, and I listen to music and see just being able to close your eyes and be taken into like a different realm. It's phenomenal. It's just you you the music just kind of gives you that structure, and then your mind can just kind of be at ease, and it's like a natural what's it called, tranquilizer. It's like you're just being
yeah,
tranquilized. It's like someone's just going, it's okay, and you can get that with even heavy metal, man. Have you ever been in a situation where you're absolutely angry? You listen to a thrash record or something. um I know I've been like this. This is what I'm saying, and I feel better. Like after the third song, it's like I was peed off 2 minutes ago, and now, yeah, I feel good. I'm gonna go do something
yeah,
productive. It's just
yeah.
it's amazing how it works.
Yeah, like it helped me when I was in high school. I had a bit of anxiety, and it helped me like get out of this state of like panic or whatever when it was like flaring up. Would ignore everybody because it just helped so much to just like get taken away from like the situation I was in and just think of something. It just helped so much.
Yeah, it focuses on something other than your feeling, what you're feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, same with me as well. I've suffered from anxiety, and it does help. In fact, I started learning the guitar because, I mean, as a teenager, I never had the greatest like time as a teenager, and I did suffer from depression and stuff and anxiety. And I found learning just every day, going to the guitar and learning something, learning the scale, learning a song.
Yeah.
It helped me. I felt more at peace, I felt less, feeling bad. And even in recent years, I was caring for my mum before she passed last year. I was her primary carer, and it's stressful. The stress is mainly dealing with everybody else round about, like the carers, the doctors, and that's where the main stress came from. But what I used to
Mhm.
do, I used to go to a nightclub at the weekend, and well, it was a rock bar, and I used to jump about like an idiot, listening to heavy metal music. And the next day, I would just chill out in my bed, and just be so relaxed and like felt kind of like
Mhm.
more myself.
Yeah.
And I felt better that I can deal with the rest of the week, can care for my mum until the weekend.
Yeah. It was sort of the same. Because if I was having a bad day, I was actually glad to see my music instructor to have a lesson because it just helped me when I played as well as like listening to music. So sometimes I was very glad to see him.
Yeah,
That release we can kind of get with music, because sorry about obviously the sad news, William. That's really awful, but
Mhm.
you getting that release, and same with you, Jodie. That release is it's
Yeah.
anxiety. Just seeing it builds up, being able to get that emotional release, and if you can do that through music or listening to music, it's so comforting.
Mhm.
It really is, and now I can see why. Like, I think it's becoming more and more recognizable, anxiety and over stress. Uh, so we've been given a lot more tools, and music being one of them. It's always kind of been there, but I think it's becoming more and more um, apparent in people's lives. Like using music as that tool, whether it be learning it, listening to it, or even live music. See, live music's
Mhm.
phenomenal as well. It's just being there in that environment. What you get from the energy of a live gig is like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
And if you ever listen to a band on record and go, I'm not too sure about them, go see them live and go, this is brilliant. It's like such a good feeling. That's just talking about it gets me all pumped up, man. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, yeah. But it's just, yeah, it just transports you to a different realm, and again, it alleviates that edginess sort
Yeah.
of anxiety that you get, and or
Yeah, like sometimes I feel good to go to like a band rehearsal Because if we were playing quite a difficult piece and I'd had quite a bad day and I was feeling quite angry or whatever, it felt good to play because I felt like I was getting all my frustration. But then I was like kind of distracted by trying to play this piece that it was just letting it all out. It was the best feeling to get it all out.
Absolutely.
That's probably where a
Is
lot
where-
of good music comes from as well. Like,
Yeah.
imagine the amount of people that have been emotionally distressed, heartbroken, mourning. Like, one of the most famous ones was the Beatles. Yes, was it yesterday? Yesterday, Paul McCartney. Sorry, yeah, or Beatles.
Yeah.
So he wrote that after his mum kind of passed. I'm sure that was like a tribute to his mum, and it just kind of came to him. But it was like, I think it was that emotional stage of like, mourning, and it just kind of clicked in his head one day. He got that tune, and it makes you think, if that experience never happened in his life, would he have came up with that song? You, you know,
I know.
it's like the experiences we have in life they can kind of put us on a path, creatively. Funnily enough, and it sets us on a whole different, path entirely, which is great. It's self discovery in a sense. Even even like, there's another study, right, that they say musicians have healthier brains, and I think and they're saying there's evidence behind it, because they have more sensitive brains. They have superior working memory, auditorial skills, and cognitive flexibility. Uh, I wouldn't say that memory for me, but other people probably have good memory. But my memory is shocking for a musician. But sensitivity, definitely. I think I can speak as myself. I feel I'm quite hypersensitive, so I think that's down to me being a musician. Kind of interlinks. What about you? Do you have that sort of? Would you say you're sensitive?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely. Like there's times like there's some like TV programs where, especially if the music's right, I'll start crying. You know what I mean? It just
Mhm.
happens.
Yeah.
Like funnily enough, I mean, going about looking through chord progressions, there's a chord progression like the most famous, the most popular pop progression is the 1 5 6 4. And they're just the most classic example is Adele, "Someone Like You," and I was
Mhm.
listening to it, and I started tearing up. I mean, I've never listened to it that much, or I don't have any other connection to the song. It's just the voice, her voice, the way she sings, especially when she goes into the chorus. Like she puts some power in her voice. It really gets me. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
And that's without even having it's not even a song about anybody I know. Do you know, like it's a song about losing somebody and wanting to be with somebody like them or something like that. You know,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and like there's people obviously they can say, oh, that reminds me of my ex and stuff, but it doesn't remind me of anything. But listening to it makes me tear up
Yeah.
because
It
the
just
emotion.
makes it worse when it's paired with like some like sad video or something because it just I look like honestly I look crazy if it's a sad video and sad like music because the music encourages me to like just cry
Aye.
completely.
Adele, though, she's got some chops on her. She's like a fantastic voice. Like, she's
Mhm.
like, she's just got one of those voice that can put you into tears. Because like,
Yeah.
her vocal range is amazing. Um, I think she seems like a really nice person as well. She's had a few good songs, and it's funny enough you mentioned that because I remember listening to that on the radio years ago, and it was always one of those very powerful songs, and I didn't know it had that element in it. The one was it 1 5 6 4,
Aye.
the chord progression. Yeah, I didn't know that was.
A, A major, so it's like it's A, E, F sharp minor, and D.
And they
So
just kind
that's
of.
like that. That's the chorus. I think the verse is a wee bit different. I think there's maybe a different chord in the verse. It sounds a wee bit different, but set in the chorus it's 1 5 6 4, and it's. But I think the emotion that comes through the voice for me is hearing the emotion in the voice. You could tell that she wrote that song and she feels that song when she's singing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think you empathise. I think that's one thing music does. It helps you empathise.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Because going back to that neurosurgeon, the neuroscientist, sorry, he's not a surgeon, he's just a scientist. He was saying how it affects the same part of the brain that creates the empathy. Like you say, oxytocin. It creates oxytocin. That's like that's the empathy drug, as they say. That's what you feel when you want to connect with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Music does that, so it's yeah.
Yeah, empathy, you get that from experiences, or you get that from practice, or you get that from obviously music. You know, it's so powerful, empathy in general. Being able to understand um, and connect with people on that level, and be able to support them, which is fantastic. I'm just going to go into something that I found quite funny. I think we spoke about it before, but um, yeah, everyone's got stereotypes, and according to this magazine, I won't tell you what magazine in case they get bad press for it, but they've broke down stereotypes for different fans, and what they're kind of like, and this is what I kind of got from them. So blues fans, they have high self-esteem. They're creative, outgoing, gentle, and at ease. Jazz fans have high self-esteem, are creative, outgoing, and at ease. Classical music fans, sorry, have high self-esteem, are creative, introvert, and at ease. I don't know if any of this is true, by the way. Rap fans have high self-esteem and are outgoing. Uh, Opera fans have high self-esteem and are creative and gentle. Country and Western fans are hardworking and outgoing. Reggae fans have high self-esteem and are creative, not hardworking, outgoing, gentle, and at ease. So any reggae fans out there, I'm really sorry. Dance fans are creative and outgoing, but not gentle. Uh, Indie fans have low self-esteem, are creative, not hardworking, not gentle. That's pretty hard in indie fans. So if you love Oasis, I'm also sorry.
That's a savage indictment.
Bollywood fans, anyone that likes Bollywood, are creative and outgoing. Rock heavy metal fans have low self-esteem, are creative, not hardworking, not outgoing, gentle, and at ease. I feel personally attacked at that one. So, very interesting. Very interesting stereotype, that's for sure. Aye, so that's a stereotype. So I find that a bit interesting. Sorry if anyone's been personally attacked there, but I do feel attacked. I don't know, like I can't even remember what magazine actually. To be honest, I was supposed to put it down, but oh, that's the what do you call it? The up to date version of there's stereotypes of fans. I don't know if it's the same for musicians, right enough. I would need to look that one up and get back to you. But I'll find out. But also another interesting thing to talk about is how music changes your ability to perceive time. And I'm sure we've all experienced this multiple times. How obviously we already know music is a powerful emotional stimulus, and it changes our relationship with time. And it does seem to fly by whilst listening to pleasant music. That's why a lot of places, businesses, companies, they have music in waiting rooms, and I don't know, on the phone as well. But to be honest, see, when you're on the phone, I feel like it takes longer when you're on the phone. It's always Mozart's Symphony I listen to when I'm on the phone, and it's just like, maybe it's because I've listened to it so much. I don't know what symphony, but it was one of them. And it's just, yeah.
I suspect that they put music on phone lines because they want to try and calm you down. Just take it easy.
My mum was on the phone. My mum was on, and it wasn't even like different songs, which would be better. It was the one same song, the same woman singing the whole time, and she just had it like on in for about like half an hour for the same song. It was so boring. It was just ridiculous.
Half an hour of the same song will make you hate it, won't it?
Yeah, like it was fine like the first two times, but after that it was just so annoying.
It was really interesting to kind of, touch on the side of music and how it affects us and our own personal experiences. William, thank you for sharing. Jodie, also thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
That's,
Thanks to you as well for sharing.
oh no, it's no problem. It's always good to hear other people's experiences, especially with music, because it's kind of widens your perception a little bit, and it's nice to be able to, because we can't jam in a jam environment, talking about it's just as good, I suppose, so but yeah, that was good, and I suppose we'll catch up next time. So thank you for tuning in, whoever's watching this.